is indicators and see how we can tell if a substance is an acid or an alkali. What in particular we're going to have a look at is the use of universal indicator to tell us the pH of a substance. So the plan, the objectives. Hopefully by the end of the lesson you'll understand what an indicator is. You'll be able to describe the pH scale using universal indicator, and you'll be able to give some examples of other indicators and explain how useful or not useful they are. Now, often when we talk about indicators, this is the first thing that people imagine. We are not talking about the indicators on cars. What we are looking at is an indicator in chemistry. Now, an indicator in chemistry is a substance that will change colour based on whether it is in contact with an acid, a neutral solution, or an alkali. I'm sure you've all done this before, and if you did the experiment on Thursday, you will have made your own indicator with red cabbage and seen how that changed colour. Now we're going to have a look a little bit in more detail at those different types of indicators. So the one that gets used most of the time, and the one you're probably most familiar with, and the one we'll certainly refer to lots as we're going through school, is universal indicator. Now, universal indicator is a mixture of lots and lots of different chemicals. Now, what that means is that when it's in different solutions, it won't just change colour to show an acid or an alkali, it will change colour to show the strength of the acid or an alkali. So it is an incredibly useful indicator. So you could have a drink that you want to know whether it's very acidic or slightly acidic. If it goes a yellowy colour, you would know that it would be a weak acid. If it goes a red colour, you would know it would be a strong acid. Certain plants will only grow in particular types of soil, certain acidic soils or certain alkali soils. You can use universal indicator to measure the pH of your soil to see what plants can grow in what parts of your garden. Again, you take a little bit of the soil, mix it with some water, let the soil settle out, add the universal indicator to the water, and it would change colour. It would go yellowy to show acidic soil, and it would go the bluey green colour to show an alkali soil. I doubt very much that your soil would be strongly acidic or strongly alkali, but it would be weakly acidic or weakly alkali. So universal indicator is a fantastic indicator for showing the strength of an acid or an alkali, and it gives that lovely range of colours. Now, what you are going to have a go at doing today is using a simulator to measure the pH of different solutions, because in school we'd normally get universal indicator out and trial these different solutions, but we can't get universal indicator to you. So I've added a link to the page you can see here, and I'm just going to bring it up and show you what you need to be doing. So if you go to the pH scale part of your assignment and click on, it will bring up the interactive simulations from Colorado University. And you've got three options here. Because this is for Key Stage 3 science, which is you guys, GCSE and A-level science, it's in varying levels of complexity. Feel free to have a look and have a play around with all of it. But for the worksheet I want you to fill in, all we need to do is click on the macro one. Then what it gives us is a water container, a pH scale, a sensor, and the different solutions. So if you click on here, you can get the different solutions. To test the pH, you need to lift up the sensor and pop it into the solution. And that tells us that water has a pH of 7. Then, take the sensor out. We can change the solution to drain cleaner. Pop the sensor back in, and we can measure what the pH is, which is pH 13. There's a worksheet on today's assignment, so as you're going through, you need to fill in the pH of all of those things. And you also need to say what colour the pH would show in universal indicator, and to do that you'd have to have a look at the scale that I've put on the worksheet for you. So you'll work through and try all of those. Once you've done that, you can pop the pH sensor in, you can add some water and see what you think will happen to the pH. You can release some water, see what will happen to the pH. So you can have a little bit of a play around with that. And like I say, by all means, go into the more complex areas if you want to have a bit of an explore around and see if you can teach yourself some of the more GCSE and A-level style understanding of acids and alkalis. But for the lesson, stick with the macro one and just work out the pH of all those different solutions and fill them in on the worksheet. So going back to today's lesson. So once you've done that, you fill in the worksheet. Fantastic. The second activity I want you to do is to look at some different indicators. So one indicator we use quite a lot in school is a litmus indicator. Now litmus will only change colour once. So it will change to a red to show if something is acidic, or a blue to show if a substance is an alkali. It will not tell you how strong or weak those acids or alkalis are. So it's very good for saying, yes, this is an acid, or yes, this is an alkali, but it won't tell us the strength of the solution. Now, there are loads and loads of other indicators. So here's a poster just showing all the different indicators, and I'll quickly whiz through these. For this, all you need to know is be able to give an example or two of some other indicators. So if we look at phenol red is a little bit like litmus in that it will only change colour to show an acid or an alkali, and it won't show us the strength of the colour change. So phenol red will go to a yellow colour in an acid, but from neutral all the way up to alkali, it will stay pink, getting slightly darker. So quite good to say if something is an acid or not, but not great to tell you whether something's an alkali, because you won't be able to tell the difference very well between neutral, something like water, and strong alkali, like drain cleaner. So I wouldn't use this indicator if I was trying to find out that. Bromothil blue. Bromothil blue turns yellow in acidic solutions, is neutral in green solutions, and in a blue solution will show that it is an alkali. Thymol blue in a neutral solution is yellow, in an acidic solution is pink, and in an alkali solution is blue. Methyl orange, neutral, is yellow. In an acidic solution, it's red, and in an alkali solution, it's yellow. And then phenolphthalein. Now, this is something that you will use when you are doing GCSE chemistry, because this is a very, very good indicator for telling you when something changes from an acid to a neutral solution, or from an alkali to a neutral solution, because you get a very, very definite colour change as it hits the neutral point. So if you started off with an acid and you slowly added more and more alkali to make it neutral, the moment that it turns pink, you know you've got a neutral solution. And vice versa, if you started off with an alkali solution and then slowly added little bits of acid, the minute that it turns clear, you know you've got a neutral solution. But that's an indicator that we'll look at in a lot more detail when we get up to Eldmeier and Thornton with the GCSE work. So your activities today are to have a go at measuring the pH of those different solutions and then filling that worksheet in, to have a look at all the videos I've put on there for today's assignment, and there's a second worksheet that asks you to look at these different indicators. Now, I've done that as a separate assignment, so it's a quiz assignment. So you'll have to click on two assignments for today. The one with this video's in, and then the other assignment has got that quiz in, and that will self-mark. So it's nice and straightforward, but it's all multiple choice, so it shouldn't be too much of a worry. Then, on Tuesday's lesson, we will have another experiment. So for that Tuesday's lesson, you need to make sure you have your egg and your vinegar ready to be able to do the experiment. Okay, thank you very much, and I will see you next time.